Hello and welcome back to our garden. Now we're actually filming in the courtyard to start the video. We did actually start it down the garden doing the rhubarb, but we had a little bit of a malfunction with the camera, so that piece of film's missing, so I've had to come in the courtyard to do the introduction. The only thing is, you didn't see me, or you won't see me, cleaning the rhubarb. But if you remember what it looked like and then what it looked like now, I just took out all the dead leaves and the weed growth, and then you'll see what I was left with. Sorry about that, but enjoy the video. I've cleaned this side rhubarb off. There was one or two of the crowns that had rotted, but not too bad at all. So what I decided I'm going to feed them with, calcified seaweed and some dried blood. Dried blood will give them the nitrogen, and this will give them all the other nutrients they want. I'm doing quite a heavy mix on it, if really want to bring them back to life. I think we've been quite a while underwater. It's not good for rhubarb, but there's no chance of moving them away. We'll try and build the soil up for them and get them a little bit higher to protect the crowns, but that's all we can do. Yeah, it's quite a heavy dose on there, but they'll appreciate it. Yeah, this is what we're going to put the nitrogen. It's quite high for a fertiliser, but it is pure organic, and as you can see, it looks like blood as well. But don't be squeamish, it's dry, it won't hurt you. I'm putting quite a dose on again. I'm going to put, I think, 3 of these little tiny pots in there. It's fine. And then when I water it, it'll water it in. The calcified seaweed is, as you can see, it's in like a granular form, so it'll take a little bit longer than the dried blood to get in. But this will be in with the first watering. So that's all I can do for the rhubarb at the moment. I will water it well this evening. Obviously I can't water it in this sun, it will just evaporate straight off anyway. We'll give it a good watering tonight, and hopefully in the next week or so it'll start to pick up again. But we will rest it this year. There'll be no rhubarb harvest, because it's only fair to give it a rest and let it strengthen up again. Now, excuse me. You can tell the sun's come out. I do suffer with hay fever a little. Never suffered all my life until I got to this age. Now I got hay fever. We'll nip into the bean cage, because I've put quite a few beans and peas in, as you know. But this morning I put some coffee grounds along them to try and keep the slugs down a bit. As you know, this year is slug year. It's year of the slug. So I'll show you what I've done in there. Likewise, when I took this rhubarb off, quite a few slugs was in. We found quite a few slugs under it, so what pellets I've got are in the shed, not down here. So when I start to water, etc., once I've watered, I'll put some on anyway. We're in the bean cage. Now, I don't know if you can remember, I said I might put some cucumbers at this end. We had 3 left, so I've got no more room for them indoors. so I put them here. Now over the last 2 or 3 days I've had some cruel wind, cold wind as well, so I had to put the fleece at this side. It's heavy duty fleece so it won't tear, and the windbreak on the other side, just to protect the poor things. I put them out and the wind started and it got colder and colder and the poor things were flapping about, so I had to protect them a little bit. They seem to have settled down alright, but we'll see. The beans. The beans, as you can see, I've put some coffee grounds around the bottom of them. Now, I put the coffee grounds down this morning first thing actually. It was nice down here then, it's quite hot now. Now I have also put a few organic slug pellets down, and I'm setting up for putting some beer traps in there as well. So I will stop these slugs one way or another. I'll keep going until either they win or I win. Just at tail end of talking about the slugs, I had 5 rows of carrots up at the top, and they was about a good inch or so high, and the slugs have taken the lot. They've just left maybe 2 on each row, and that's not enough to keep us going with carrots. So a job this afternoon for me to take the cover off, take everything out and clean up again, and reseed. Now first off I thought it was some mice. I thought it must be the mice eating these, and I put some cage traps down with some chocolate in. I thought, well, they're bound to go into these cage traps. Not a thing. So it must be slugs, and you can tell the way they've left a little bit of stalk and nibbled the lot off, so it must be slugs. Mind you, I suppose a mouse would eat that like that as well, but probably take it down further. But it must be slugs, so I'll revamp it and replant. It's early enough for late carrots, so we'll get those in. Now we're at the water tank, and I'm going to get the tomato feed into one of these big cans and put it into the bottles down on the plot. This is what I use, organic tomato fertiliser from Green Futures. Actually it's still half full, and this is the 2nd year I've had this bottle, so it goes quite a way, and that's doing the amount of tomatoes that we do. It's quite thick and it's seaweed based, so if you leave it in the can too long it actually gives off a smell of seaweed, so be warned, it can get a bit smelly if you leave it. Now we've got the can in the shade now so you can actually see. This is how much I put in to 14 litres, and always about the same because it's quite thick. That's plenty. If you're using a lot of this tomato feed, it just goes through and you waste it. So little and often is better for the tomatoes as well. When we're watering, when we've got a lot of tomatoes and watering a lot, I will feed every other day. That's why I keep it just a little bit, just to keep them going. I'm going to fill it out the tank, which is better for the plant anyway because that's rainwater. When I get so much in, I give it a swirl round just to keep it mixed. This will be better in this side, look. And then just move the pipe occasionally. But it soon fills a 14 litre. Nearly there. And I've done all the others except for the ones without bottles. They'll have to be watered later, obviously they'll be watered over the top. But this is the beauty of having the bottles, because it's in full sun. You can just tip it in and that's it. they'll slowly go out. Can you see where that one's beginning to slowly go out into the soil? And we'll do this M one because we missed it. There you are, to do that one because it's only one there. That's 10 litres of feed gone direct into the root zone. If you put it on top, most of it evaporate anyway in this heat. All the heat we're going to get, let's put it that way. So for 2 cans I can do 2 rows and half a row. So 4 cans and I've done 5 rows, so it's not so bad. First thing this morning, well, just after first light, so it was early, I was watering the strawberries. I like to keep them wet, especially now the fruits are swelling, so they've got some moisture to put into these fruits. So in the morning and the evening they get a watering, and it seems to be working. It's got quite a bit of fruit on them now. Now we're just going to pop a couple of rows of celery in this tunnel behind me. What I have put some in, and I've put the thick heavy duty fleece on top just to stop the sun from drying them out too quick, because celery don't like to be standing dry, they like moisture. I've brought the celery plants up, what we're putting in this tunnel. I just want one more on that row and then a full row in, because I want to save that end piece for the celeriac. We don't need a lot of celeriac, but just maybe 3 or 4 rows in there will just do nicely. And we need to keep them this end of the garden, because if it gets wet at that end, at least we can harvest from this end. Well, we'll just pop this one in at the end of this row and then set up for another row. Put that in. I think that row will do. Nice little plants, look. Well grown, no problem. A little bit green on top, but that'll disappear. In they go. And I do like to chomp round. Now this bit of land has been well fertilised for these, so they should grow quite well. Now I'll just put another row in and get them watered. The other thing to tell you is this year I've planted them a little bit tighter together. Last year I gave them plenty of room, which was good, but they made such huge plants we couldn't cope with them. So hopefully smaller plants, and we'll keep taking them out and thinning them, should be better for us than those massive plants what we was getting last year. So I'll just get these in and then I come back to you, because the sun's giving us some bad shadows I think at the moment, and you won't be able to see with the shadows being on anyway. Now that's all the celery put in. I'll just give them a drink to bed them in a bit. That's it. And then these that's left, we'll find somebody who wants those. I think I know somebody will take. What I should do now before we see to those few onions is I should put the heavy duty fleece on top to stop the sun drying them out too quick, and then we'll do that. Right, I've just put the cover on the celery just to keep this sun from burning them and drying them out too fast when they've only just been planted. I use these heavy duty clips, as you can see, they get used all the time, and they're useful, especially when you're putting your tunnel sheets on and you just want to clip it while you get on with it, especially if it's windy. So they're very useful. Now I will later in the week, when I've got the celeriac planted, I'll put a mesh tunnel on this and a mesh tunnel on those leeks, and by then I'll have those carrots sorted out. Now the last little job with you today is to get some of these spring onions in. These ones are putting in are actually called parade. They usually stand nice and straight, but they won't when we just put them in because they're a bit... Now I have tried growing them from direct set in this row here, and although we've got a few, we haven't got many, so I've gone back to planting them in cell trays and putting them in groups. It doesn't seem to work very well, and it's a good piece of land up here. It's a very strong piece of land for onions. So a little bit disappointed that that row hasn't come up, but I've got enough for this row, and what I should do now is reset in the cell trays, so we've got a follower on for when these are gone. We can replant them because the ground will stand it. These are the last 6 to go in. They are parade, so we'll just pop these 6 in, and that's another row done, and then we'll reset. I'm just going to make 6 holes for them and then pop them in. Very good ground this is. And underneath this lot is loads of fertiliser and loads of manure actually. Loads of manure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we won't go 5. We'll do 4 and put the other 2 on the back end of this row here. Now we're putting them too close. They are multi-set, as you can see, and all these are multi-set as well, so if you space them well, they'll still produce some good onions. There you are, nice and ready to go. Pop them in, squash them down a bit, and make sure the soil's all around them. That's it. And then, because they'll tend to flop, when they haven't got the line there, I go along and move the soil up to them so they're all stood straight. In fact, we could get another one there, but we'll cheat a little bit. There. The soil is very wet because I've been irrigating those strawberries next to them. You see how you do it? When you're done that, get them all stood up. But you can't do it while the line's on. So I'll finish these, put what's left in on this line where they're very sparse, and then come back to you. That's those onions in the called parade. Now I do like to grow the spring onion called guardsman, but we couldn't get it this year, so we thought the closest to it was parade, so that's why we got parade. Now that'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. By next week I think we'll be planted, and then the week after we'll have a tour top to bottom, show you what we've done. That might include the chicken garden as well, and you can watch them running about. So that'll be it for this week. As I said, take care everyone, we'll see you in a few days. Bye now.